Hello, welcome back to A Boring Revolution, your number one news source for everything in regards to the Boring Company. Thank you for joining me this wonderful, wonderful day. It's a real sad day for me, unfortunately, because I've had to make another video rebutting a lot of absolute bonkers statements via Thunderf00t. I've just watched his latest video. It's an absolute pile of dog shit. Every aspect of it is completely, utterly wrong. I'm going to go into it in detail, look at each piece, and try to explain to you why this is absolutely ridiculous. The guy peddles misinformation at a level I have not seen outside CNN. He is an absolute tool and a piece of shit. Yeah, I don't like saying that, but unfortunately, he's pushing lies, he's pushing falsehoods, and he's essentially manipulating the data to make it look as though the Boring Company is a failed piece of vaporware. It's not true. I'm going to go after it today. So, if you don't already know, there is this person on the interwebs. We call him Thunderf00t. His videos have gone from fairly average to absolute garbage over the last 5 years, and he just continues to attack Elon Musk day after day after day. I don't know if he's lost an absolute mountain of money shorting Tesla. I don't know what it is. Maybe he just doesn't like people who make more in an hour than he does in a decade. But there you go. So here's Thunderf00t. As you can see, he's the chief. Sorry guys, that's that's not Thunderf00t. Sorry about that. So this is Thunderf00t. As you can see, yeah, interesting looking guy. Kind of looks like a homeless person, but you know, what can you say? Anyway, this is his video. I'm sure he put a lot of time and effort in this video. You know, hopefully, it makes him happy inside to produce this kind of shit. But hey, here's the video. Tell me what you think.
The sales pitch is amazing. A gourmet meal is promised. A succulent Angus rump steak, charbroiled to perfection, roast potatoes, garnished with a knob of butter, and the freshest of springtime garden bacon.
You've just got to love the irony in this guy's voice when he talks. Now, what he's doing by trying to illustrate this example with food and these really tasty looking meals is he's trying to make it out as though the Las Vegas loop was a failure on every single aspect. And this is kind of the lies and the misinformation that Phil peddles on a daily basis. It's utterly wrong. Let me tell you about the Las Vegas loop. I've just looked again at the contract documents from 2 years ago, and I can tell you they fulfilled every single obligation in those documents. Often we hear quotations from the LA loop, which has nothing to do with this project, by the way. So in terms of the quality of the work done on this project, it was very, very good. It was built to specification. The stations are kind of vast and luxurious. They were fitted out to a high standard. The tunnels look really, really good. The vehicles operate quite well. In terms of the actual cost, it was costed at just under $50 million, and that included a contingency. Remember, that contingency comes back to the Boring Company of around $4.4 million. And in terms of time, the actual program, which was around a year, actually ended up at around 58, 59 weeks. So all in all, it is as expected. So I don't understand the irony that he's peddling on this particular part of his video.
This is peak stupidity.
I give you the Springfield monorail.
So, the brainwashing begins. This is where Phil sows his deceitful narrative. The narrative is that the Boring Company is coming in to Las Vegas, taking people's money and disappearing off into the sunset, having done a terrible job. It could not be further from the truth. The Boring Company did an excellent job for the Las Vegas Convention Center, on every single metric. You read the contract documents, everything within there, whether it be the program, whether it be the cost, whether it be the actual specification of the system. And remember, the specification of the system is all that matters. What you pay for is what you get. Everything within that document has been fulfilled. So, this is the beginning. He is not being honest with you.
And when they finally did get around to trying to build it, there were some slight problems there as well. They didn't go at 150 miles per hour, but more like 30 miles per hour.
No. This system has been consistently running at 40 miles per hour for the last 2.5 months. That is going to eventually be uprated to 45 miles per hour in the next few weeks. And then in the long term, when FSD has finally passed through its beta stage, we're looking at around 55 to 60 miles per hour, which is more than suffice for this system, which is quite small and serves quite a small area. There's never ever a stipulation in the Las Vegas Convention Center contract documents that said that the system needed to be operated at speeds above 100 miles per hour. That is a blatant lie by Phil, total lie, and there was never ever any speed set within that document or with any meetings that were conducted with the Las Vegas Convention Center. On to your next lie, Phil.
I mean, let's count all those thousands of people it's moving, shall we? Well, there's, one. Oh no, he's an usher.
Again, he tries to push the narrative that the Boring Company system is a very low capacity system. It is not. Look here, there's the evidence, 4,400 per hour. This system has been operating in the middle of a pandemic, has been moving hundreds of thousands of people this year at various conference events. Successfully, 0 accidents, everyone loves using the system, and they've not even been running it at full capacity. Eventually, they will get this up to around 5,000 passengers per hour. Everything is there to say that this system met the specifications in the contract documents, is achieving the numbers it said it would. Steve Hill agrees, the Las Vegas Convention Center agrees, Elon Musk agrees. Unfortunately, this dumbass Thunderfoot thinks otherwise, but he is still lying to you. On to the next one.
And people are going to just want to try it out just for the fun of trying it out.
Yeah, I'm sure people have never experienced a slow car ride in a tiny tunnel will be awestruck about how you're the first in the world to take the novel and amazing adventure of a car ride in a tunnel and make it slower and smaller. Actually, I take that back. This is a regular tunnel with lights. This is a death trap with rave lights.
Again, total ignorance of the facts of this system, of the actual record of it running successfully all year long, continually improving, adding more and more vehicles and adjusting the speed limit accordingly. This system is not limited to 40 miles per hour. The limit will not always be 40 miles per hour. It eventually will be substantially increased once the system goes fully autonomous at the latter end of next year. This absolute rubbish that this system is a death trap is totally oblivious to the facts and the specification of this tunnel system. This tunnel system is the safest underground tunnel moving system, mass transit system in the whole of Nevada. Yeah, it is extremely safe. There are fire suppression equipment available in the tunnel. There is more than adequate ventilation, and the probability of a vehicle catching fire is something like 1 in 10 million. The idea that this underground system is not safe is laughable. Yeah, it follows every single fire code in the state of Nevada. Every single detail has been considered carefully. How can we make sure that this system is safe 24/7, every single minute of every single day? Yeah, all the vehicles regularly checked, the probability of any one vehicle catching on fire during the course of any given year is something like 1 in 10 million. Yeah? The probability of fire is very, very low. And on top of that, you have excellent ventilation systems, you have excellent fire suppression systems, and you have excellent evacuation procedures as well. On top of that, this is one of the most safest underground people moving systems in all of North America. So the idea that this guy is pushing the narrative that this system is unsafe, it's dangerous, and you are going to die if you use it is utter bullshit. It is exactly what I would expect from this patentless boomer part-time scientist. On to the next one.
Now, most normal people at this point would have just hung their heads in shame that they'd been taken for $55 million and been delivered almost none of what they were promised.
It's just simply incorrect. The contract was $48 million, not $55 million, and that included a bond, which was returned to the Boring Company at the end of last year. So, where has he got 55 million from? Does he not do any research? It's totally wrong. Look, there it is in black and white. The contract price, including the bond, which was then returned to the Boring Company. So what did it actually cost? A lot less than 55 million. On to the next piece of misinformation.
You know, the second you get a tunnel fire in this thing, it'll be a disaster.
Has anybody brushed a wall yet?
Yeah, there've been a couple people that have.
Well, good. Knock on wood, right? It just seems so close. It's kind of crazy.
So this system is designed to be a tight fit. The reason being, the smaller the tunnel, the less spoil you need to excavate, therefore the lower cost of the tunnel system itself. It's inevitable that things are going to be tight. The same goes if you're driving on the motorway and the vehicles are less than 2 foot to your left and to your right. And the same goes if you're on a train and there's hundreds of people in a carriage. Everything is going to be tight when it comes to transport. That's how it is. That's how it's always going to be. Otherwise, it would not be efficient. It would be wasteful. In terms of the fire risk, again, I keep saying this, the probability of a vehicle catching fire in any given year inside the tunnel system is about 1 in 10 million. It's a very, very low probability that you are going to get involved in a fire in the system. And even if it does happen, you know, you're not going to end up dying. You'll just have to open the doors and run away from the incident. The dangers of a fire are being vastly overinflated. They are extremely low. Do not fall into this man's narrative. He is a serial liar. Next one.
But wait, you might be thinking, hang on, didn't Elon Musk promise us that these would be automated, futuristic pods, not just sort of chauffeur-driven taxis, you know, like Ubers or something? Well, yeah, I hate to break it to you, but a lot of the time when Elon Musk is saying that he can do things hundreds of times better than anyone else can do it, but not in the future, but now, well, he's just lying to you. It's just, you know, claiming that he's a genius who is going to revolutionize industries gets you headlines. But we're dealing with Elon Musk fans here. They looked at this and said, that's amazing. Can we have some more of it, please?
I have no idea what he means by that, because it is local businesses and the large casinos in Las Vegas that are requesting this system. It is nothing to do with Elon Musk fans. So by him saying that indicates that he doesn't actually know what is going on in Nevada. Next one.
Why, that's odd. None of them had an estimated completion date on them. I wonder what that might be. Well, let's take a look at how long it took them to dig their current system, which is about 1 mile long.
Construction on this loop was completed in 2 years.
Let's see, 1 mile in 2 years, and they want to do 30 miles, giving it an estimated construction time of about 60 years.
Well, that's bizarre. You know, Phil must be confused. Either that or he has suffered some kind of concussion. I don't know where to start on this one. Firstly, the system encompasses two 0.83 miles tunnels, or around 1.66 miles in total. So they actually constructed far more than 1 mile of tunnel with the 1 TBM. Because remember, this system was limited by the fact they only had one machine at that period in time. Secondly, they built those 1.66 miles of tunnel in 14 months. Not 2 years, 14 months. If you don't believe me, here is the program of construction that I recorded whilst this system was being built. I mean, it's not even up for debate. This system was built in 14 months. So yet again, the incel is talking out of his arse. What else has he got to say? Let's hear it.
And of course, if you want those headlines to be well received and well read, well, why would you bother checking if he's pulled this sort of scam before? But the sheer seamless way he lies to people has to be seen to be believed. I mean, let's just take an example of his claims of autopilot on a truck. All you need to know is nothing that is being said here is true.
All of this is included. It's included in every truck. Everything just works. The moment you get the truck, it's got everything. What this means is it's not just economic suicide to use one diesel truck. It's economic suicide for rail.
Wow. So you've heard it here first. Phil Mason actually believes that the Tesla semi-truck is a piece of vaporware, is never going to be released, and will never achieve full self-driving. So all those people who've placed orders for it are being conned. Wow, Phil, you are an absolute genius. Please, people, remember what he just said there and remind him every single day for the next 10 years who has the best electric semi-truck. Because at some point in the next 9 months, Tesla will release its truck and it will absolutely destroy Phil's Burr thesis, because it is a game-changing product. Let's see or hear what else he's got to say.
Promising there that he can do now, today, in 2017, 10 times more safely than a human driver. He can't. Not then, and not now in 2021. I mean, Elon Musk might have happily put up this display of a Tesla full self-driving in 2019. They had a video of it all working seamlessly. It just worked. I mean, couldn't possibly be that this was all staged or faked or something.
This is possibly one of the most insane things that Thunderfoot has ever said. He's insinuating that the test drive that was taken here with the full self-driving system was a fake. I think that is absolutely ridiculous. He is talking out of his arse again. This is cutting edge technology. It's being rolled out into consumer cars at the moment. We're going to see fantastic results over the next 9 months. And ultimately, at the end of the process, Thunderfoot is going to come out looking like an idiot. Although, to be fair, he already looks like a clown today. On to the next one.
I mean, the tunnels. Elon Musk originally said he was going to dig them 10 times faster than anyone else.
So when I say like, yeah, we're going to have like this tunneling machine that can do a mile a week.
And in the end, it turned out he was digging them about 10 times slower than everyone else. And that's including difficult projects like, say, for instance, the Channel Tunnel.
So again, this is a bunch of baloney, total statistical manipulation. This system was built at a very quick speed. Towards the end of the job, the TBM was achieving around 27.4 meters per day, which is actually more than what they achieved with the Channel Tunnel. The reason the Channel Tunnel, and I've already debunked this dumb idiot's response to this, the reason the Channel Tunnel was so fast was because it had multiple TBMs. I believe it had 6 TBMs, maybe even 7 TBMs operating at various times, with hundreds and hundreds of men behind each machine. So you can't compare the two. It's a terrible, terrible comparison. What he is doing is manipulating the data. Here is the program which I recorded for the Las Vegas Convention Center loop. Have a look. It took a lot less than 2 years to build those tunnels. As you can clearly see, everything that comes out of this man's mouth is a deceitful lie. What he's saying is not true. He's not using the correct data. He's manipulating the statistics. He is not being honest with you. On to the next one.
Great question. Now, Steve Hill tells me that it's going to be more expensive than RTC public transit, but less expensive than using rideshare like Uber or Lyft.
Like, how? What? And this is ignoring the fact that you've got to pay somehow for the tunnels that cost $55 million per mile to dig.
I mean, Jesus Christ. This guy is as thick as a bag of hammers. The tunnels cost $6 million per mile to dig. Yeah, I have no idea why he thinks it would cost 55 million, which is another number that he's pulled out of his arse. Just does not exist. It's a fabricated number. Okay, so let me explain the economics of how the Boring Company can charge just $6 per ride per vehicle. Number one, it only costs about 28 cents per mile to run that vehicle if it is a Tesla. Secondly, the tunnel maintenance costs equate to around 14 cents per vehicle mile over the course of a year. So that's January to December per vehicle. Number three, this is the key one. Listen up, Phil. A typical Uber driver gets around 5 or less rides per hour. Yeah, so he's fairly limited because of what he can do in that any given hour. A loop vehicle could easily accommodate 10 rides per hour, possibly more, thanks to no traffic lights and no congestion in the tunnel and a higher top speed. It's simple economics. Look at it. Therefore, the economics of running a loop system are by far more superior to that of any Uber system in any city, in any country. I mean, it's fairly obvious. You run the real numbers and not the fake ones and you get the right answer. Okay? On to the next one.
But there's a problem here as well. We know what roads with cars on travelling 60 miles per hour look like. They look like the freeway. And one of the things you notice about the freeway is it doesn't have many 90-degree corners in it. Like, say, for instance, this, or this, or this.
Yet again, this is not true. They are not limited to tunnelling below the roads. They are going to get approval to go under various buildings and car parks. And I can assure you now, based on the plans that I have looked at as of today, that no corner in the Las Vegas system is going to be of a radius of less than 74 feet. Yeah, most corners in the system that is being proposed at the moment are over 180 feet in radius. Okay, so by actually saying this, again, we have more proof that this man here, Phil Mason, is totally biased. He's not even bothering to look at the plans and study them and the contract documents. It is a false premise that he is pushing. On to the next one.
Look, this is the part of the Las Vegas loop that has thus far been completed, and that has speed limits in it of about 30 miles per hour for those sorts of radiuses of curvature. The rest of the loop will be considerably slower than this. Yeah, can't take 90-degree corners at 30 miles per hour. And seeing as they're limited to digging under the streets, you know, because those are the only bits that the city has land rights to.
Now, the route you see in blue, that is what was approved by county commissioners today. A twin tunnel transportation system with 51 stations spanning 29 miles.
So it appears that Thunderfoot believes that the entire 29 plus mile system will be limited to around 30 miles per hour. Crackers. Absolutely crackers. I can tell you now that parts of this system, yes, they will be limited to 50 miles per hour. Some parts will be limited to 70 miles per hour. Some parts will be limited to 80 miles per hour. But the average speed going through this system will be well above 50 miles per hour. Thus, much faster than vehicles on surface streets. I just don't buy this whole idea that the current Las Vegas Convention Center loop is limited because of curves. A lot of those radiuses are in excess of 200 meters. That is meters. Therefore, the only reason that we have speed limits in that system is because of current regulations, which eventually will be usurped by new ones, allowing the system to run at much, much higher speeds in the medium to long term. Don't buy into this idea that this system will be limited to 30 miles per hour. At some point in time, the speed limits will be increased, and then I will be coming back to remind Thunderfoot how wrong he was on this particular point. But for the next 6 to 9 months, I'm guessing that he's going to be bleating on about this until he's proved wrong, and then he will go mute. He is a joke. He is a failed scientist. He is a part-timer. He is an incel. Don't listen to this guy. He is a worthless piece of garbage who has never achieved shit in his entire life. He's never patented anything. He's never run any kind of experiment that was considered useful in any sort of consumer product or industrial process. He has done nothing in his 50-year life other than produce some crap videos on his crap YouTube channel. On to the next point.
Yeah, this isn't going to happen. But that's why I'm here. Because if it weren't for a handful of skeptics like me, Adam something, the common sense skeptic, then you'd be left with reporting on the Vegas loop.
Well, I just think that is the greatest statement that we could end this video on. This thing is never gonna happen. Wow. Well done, Phil. Thank you for issuing those words. They will forever be immortalized on this channel. And I hope you enjoy it. Mr. Thunderfoot, I hope you have a wonderful day. And please send your army of losers and basement-dwelling scum after me. I will deal with them in the proper and respectful way that I always do, by squashing them like the little ants that they are. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care now, and goodbye.